All right, it's open mic night. It's your turn to call in, sound off, get off your takes. This night is yours. There's a lot to talk about. Trey Lance's looked pretty good. Joint practices versus Minnesota. Trey Sermon went down with an injury. Let's see what else has happened since the last time we talked. There's quite a bit. Jimmy Ward, and we don't have to do this much longer, but Jimmy G, does he get traded to the Browns? We'll talk about that and more next. Whatever's on your mind, link is pinned to the chat. Call in. All right, welcome back to Last Second Sports, where we are giving our take down to the last second. It's your boy Jesse. Call-in show starts now. Mike Miller, everybody's favorite. How are you?
What? Show me and then take me away?
Here, do this. I can show you.
I want you to get a piece of paper and a pencil.
Piece of paper and a pen. Oh, you're lucky that I got it right here. Right.
Okay. Because we're going to write down some stuff.
Okay.
You still ain't showing me on the screen.
What do you got right here? Paper?
No, I'm talking about my face. Put my face in.
Hold on. I got to remove you. Hold on. Let me kick you real quick. There we go. I'm going to make you smaller.
My hair won't lay down flat, but that's all right. All right. Predictions is what we're going to talk about tonight.
Okay, let's do it.
Bosa, 22.5 sacks this season. I'm going to say he gets 24. That's the record is 22.5. I say he gets 24. What do you say? Write mine down, write yours down. We're going to see who's closest at the end of the season.
All right. Mike, Bosa, 24 sacks. Okay.
And
I'm going to say
unstoppable today in practice. He dominated.
Oh, yeah. He's on a whole.
Bosa had 10 sacks today alone if it was real.
Mike, he's on a whole different level right now.
He looks explosive right now. Womack.
Hold on. Shooter. Okay. I haven't given my number yet. I haven't given my number. I'm going to go 17 and a half.
17 and a half.
Yep. Okay. Womack.
Rookie of the year.
Ooh, defensive rookie of the year. Well, I mean, the odds are in my favor to say no, he's not going to be.
And you're going to lose. You're going to lose.
Not rookie of the year. Win. Okay, perfect. Who else you got?
How many interceptions will he have this season? I'm saying 8. That will give him rookie of the year.
God, if he has 8 picks, that would be tough to argue against. I mean, you'd have to have one of these guys like an Aiden Hutchinson or somebody have like 15 sacks, 8 picks. I'm going to go.
He plays for Detroit. Ain't nobody going to be watching them up there.
That's true. Rad will be. That's about it. Let's go 4 picks. That's my gut feeling.
4 picks? Oh, he can do that in one game.
Yeah, the way he's been playing, no doubt. And I'll say this too, just for everybody, it's not just the game where he got the picks. I mean, he's all over everything in these joint practices too. It's crazy.
He's a lockdown corner.
He is.
I don't know if he may not win rookie of the year, but he will put numbers up to be in that discussion.
Yeah, he will.
You pick a couple, and then I'll challenge what you say. Pick a couple things.
All right. More receiving yards, Ayuk or Debo?
Brandon Ayuk, of course.
I agree with you.
Mr. Butterfingers dropped some more today. He actually tipped one for an interception that wasn't Trey Lance's fault.
We got push back a little bit. I do think it was on Trey Lance. It was a little bit behind him. But Ayuk probably makes that catch.
Did the ball hit his hands?
I don't know. I haven't seen the throw. From what I've heard, it was just behind him.
It hit his hands.
Yeah. Well,
you're making 80, 90 million, whatever it is, you catch the damn ball.
You know the rule. hits your hands, you got to catch it. Okay,
I mean,
let's go. Let's go. Drake Jackson over under 5.5 sacks.
under.
I knew you were going to say that. That's why I see. I got
just
you.
don't
I
like
got
him.
you. I know you.
I don't like
Okay.
him. I think Samson Ebukon's going to be the second guy.
Okay.
How many are you saying?
I'm
You're
going to
saying
say
over.
6. I think 6. Yeah.
Okay.
I was
say
intentional
under.
about that number.
Okay. Well, see, I went way out on the limb. I'm saying 8 interceptions, and you're saying under now.
Well, yeah. I mean, don't get mad at me because you threw out something outlandish that I don't have to hold
I
up
don't
to.
think it's outlandish.
Don't get mad at me. I'm just playing the numbers here. I'm smart.
He snatched 2 interceptions in a preseason game.
Don't get me wrong. He certainly did that.
It wasn't tipped and luckily fell in his arms. He took the ball.
No, I get that. I get that. Let's see. What else is there? Okay. Trey Lance, over or under 4,100 passing yards?
Over. He's getting about 4,500.
Okay. I'm going to go under. So Lance.
Remember, you got to keep these papers, and we got to look at this after the season.
4,100. Okay.
30 plus passing TDs, over or under. I'm going to say 28.
In
other words, 28 is the number, and I'm going to say over 28.
Okay, so over under 28? God. Yeah. I'm going to go push. I think it's exactly 28. So I have him at 28 passing and 7 rushing is where my season prediction is.
Well, I had him at 28 and 7 rushing too.
Did you really?
I've said that before too. Yeah.
Okay, well let's not argue. Then let's not argue that one because we agree. I don't want to make either of us take a side we don't want to be on.
Yeah, but I want it on record in case we hit it.
Well, okay, we can say that 28 and 7. Yeah. Okay, I got you. I think we got it on record, man.
One more thing.
Okay, all right.
Jimmy G traded or not?
Not. Oh, we get to find this one out before the season starts. We get to find this one out soon. You think he's going to get traded, don't you?
I think he's going to be cut.
Do you?
I hate to say it now. Ain't nobody going after him, and Cleveland wants him. They just wait 2 weeks, and he's there.
There's no
Nobody's going to trade for him. I mean, unless they get desperate and other teams show interest of picking him up when he hits free agency, and then who pays the most money may make them give up a 7th or something to get him. That's the only way we can trade him, is if a couple teams get desperate. And there's teams like the Giants that should pick him up. The Jets temporarily should pick him up. I mean, there's plenty of teams out there. Seattle's going to make a run for him if he hits free agency. There's no way Seattle's going to run with that quarterback they got. So,
yeah.
But I'll let you go. I just wanted to put some things on record.
All right, brother. I got them written down. We're ready to roll.
All right. I'll let you go.
All right. You have a good one. Later.
You too.
All right. Ryan tapping in. You can catch Ryan usually on Fridays with Grant. I don't know if he'll be on there tomorrow. But he says, I don't think it's been talked about enough how well Trey Lance goes through his progressions. Watching him in the first preseason game, I really focused on that, and he sees it all. Bright future ahead. Yeah. You know what? I noticed that a little bit last year, but really even in the little videos that have been thrown out here or there in training camp, you can see his head making those progressions. Again, the little things. It's the little things that he does well. It's the shoulder shrug in the pocket. It's the standing tall. It's making the right read pre-snap, keeping it post-snap, going through his progressions. Ryan, there's so much to be excited about with Trey Lance. And, for a kid, again, that's supposed to be a project, he is way ahead of the game. Way ahead of the game. Shout out to Ryan, by the way. And Ryan, you can say in the chat if your name is your actual YouTube channel. But he invited me on next week. Nothing to do with 49ers. It's going to be like interview style. So I don't fully know what to expect. But if you care about me other than the 49ers, you can learn a thing or two about me. I don't know exactly. Like I said, I don't know fully what to expect. You just said it's a little bit more of an interview, like a highlight interview to get to know who I am as a person. A lot of questions there. So we'll see how that goes. I'm looking forward to that. That should be next Wednesday, I believe, 10 in the East and 7 in the West, right after 49ers After Dark. So I'm actually excited about that. I'm excited to do something a little bit different than football, right? Just little change of pace. It's nice to try something different. That being said, Korean 49er bringing you on. What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm good, Jesse. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, man. Doing really good, actually.
So to get at Mr. Mike Miller, I remember him earlier in the offseason saying we will get a first-round pick for him or something to that about. Am I correct or am I wrong?
So listen, I don't remember if it was a first. It was certainly like 2 seconds. But that's why he did. I mean, he said he admitted that he was wrong. That's why I was trying to pigeonhole him there on that one, but he's like, "No, you're right. Like, we're not going to get anything for him at this point."
I've been consistent about him not having no trade value since they traded up to number 3. I've just been consistent on it. That's all I'm going to say. So, to me, going to the Deshaun Watson suspension, not enough for Jimmy to be traded over there. They have a good defense. You got 2 good running backs. As long as Jacoby doesn't hose things up, I think they can, stay above water and be very competitive at least.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. The thing is, I think he still probably ends up on Cleveland, but it'll be after he gets cut. Like, who are they competing against? If I'm Cleveland, here's what I would do. I wouldn't mind trading for Jimmy G, like a 5th or a 7th, but I'm talking to Don Yee to get that contract worked down because the 49ers aren't going to eat any of that salary cap whatsoever. And they shouldn't, by the way. And if I'm Cleveland, even though I've got the money, I'm not paying that full salary cap. So I'm talking to Don Yee to figure out how much I can drive that thing down. So that's what I'm doing, is working out a contract there and then throwing the 49ers like a 5th and a 7th or something crazy.
Having a little glitch with StreamYard, but that cap space is way more valuable than any draft pick they get back.
Oh, yeah.
So
unless it's a second, which we're not going to get that. So
no. To me, with Jimmy on the books last year, we had Josh Norman and Drake Kirkpatrick. Do we really want to go that route again?
No.
I'm just saying. So,
although low key, the right tackle position right now, if McGlinchey's out, we're kind of going that route. I hate to say it, but it's not looking good.
Who do they have? Jordan Mills currently, and McKivitz.
Yeah, Mills is there. Yeah,
if Mills is showing a little bit of that he could actually play, I wouldn't mind just putting him there because I might think that might be a decent pickup. He does have experience. I mean, it's better than. I still think he's got some play in him, so I'm not too worried about that.
I like this suggestion by Niner by Nature. I just think it's a little too late. Like, if it was the beginning of camp, I'd be with you, but I think it's a little too late to make that move. Like, Burford's kind of locked in at that right guard spot at this point, in my opinion.
Yep, I would agree with that. Also, I don't see much value in the joint practice with the Vikings. We already know that outside of you get to compete against somebody else for a little bit instead of beating each other up. But we already know that Bosa is really good. The defense should be, at the very minimum, a top 10 defense. And hopefully Trey just keeps getting better and better as the season goes. But I'd like to talk to you about one thing, Jesse. I can't stand these field turf fields because we're seeing all these non-contact, knee and leg injuries where you didn't have them as much with grass fields. And I'm amazed that the NFLPA doesn't come out and say, hey, our best players are getting injured on this surface more often than not. Not to say someone can't get hurt on a hard grass field in Chicago or Green Bay or somewhere like that.
Yeah, and that's the problem, right? Is some of these grass fields just aren't maintained. I don't remember is MetLife, is that grass or the Jet Stadium? I can't remember if I think that's grass. I could be wrong.
It might be. I think it's field turf.
Is it either way? I know Chicago's field's a mess right now, right? And they got to play their week 1. Grass for some reason can be hard to maintain as well, and it's especially when you get inclement weather, it can be a disaster. But I would say more often than not, I agree with you. I mean, cleats get stuck in field turf and you get ACL tears and all that stuff. So I don't know, man. It's crazy to me, whether it's field turf or whether it's grass, that some of these fields can be as in piss poor shape as they are when you've got a multi-billion-dollar organization running things. That's crazy.
You would think that they could afford to have good fields at every stadium for all these billion-dollar teams, since every team is more or less a billion-dollar team.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I think
It's
that's
stupid. It's stupid.
so.
You got
All right,
local high schools with better fields than some of these teams. It's bad.
yeah. So, all right, Jesse, I'm just ready for the regular season.
All right, brother. You have a good one.
You too.
Later. All right, we're gonna go Chase, Davo, Gammon, Eric. That's the order. And then Keith. What's up, brother? How are you?
Yeah. What's up? How's it going?
Going good, man. Well, you changed your name on me back there, and I have no idea how to say that, so I'm not doing that.
It's Nisoto, and
Okay.
it's Native American. That's my YouTube channel name.
Okay.
And it means seven. It's in Northern Arapaho.
Okay,
Um,
I like it. I would have messed it up because there's an X. I wouldn't have known that
I
was
know,
silent,
yeah.
and that would have been that.
I know it's confusing, and my name is Camden Scalera,
Okay.
right? But I put my YouTube channel name just so I can, hit that plug or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
So
can
had
hear.
some.
I can bring you. Hold on. Let me pull you back, and I'll bring you back in so that your name's up there. Hold on.
Yeah. How's it going, man?
Bam.
Good to see you.
There we go. Good to see
I
you
wanna
too,
s-
brother.
I want to say thank you for the camera. As you can see, it's a lot better than what I had originally.
Yeah, is
Um,
that what you ended up picking up? Was that
yeah, I
camera?
got the same camera you recommended. So
Not bad, right? Like for
yeah,
$60, can't beat it.
yeah, it's beautiful. So I just wanted to ask some questions about the offensive line because going into the season, I mean, I'm sure you had the same questions, but the interior of the offensive line was a big worry for me. Mike McGlinchey as well, but it seems like he's kind of putting it together, even though he's injured. But that quad coming straight off the bone, like a deep fried Thanksgiving turkey leg, I was very
Jeez.
scared. Um, but but yeah, right now we got Burford at the right guard spot. We got it seems like Brendel because um, who's
Brunskill's
the
hurt.
yeah Brunskill. Brunskill's injured, and I heard he's had a lot of problems snapping the ball. Um, and then at the left guard, we got Aaron Banks. Now, I know that Jimmy is most likely going to get cut. Do you think that there's a possibility that he could get traded for an interior offensive lineman that could work in at that center position maybe a little bit later? But it seems like Brendel is having some serious troubles.
Yeah, the problem is that, like, let's just look at it realistically. The teams that would want Jimmy, I
Mm-hmm.
think the teams that Cleveland for sure, right? Like
Yeah,
that's makes a lot of sense. They got rid of JC Treader, and then the center they signed is out for the season. So you're probably
yeah.
not going to get anybody from them. The Giants, I mean, do we
Do
really
we
want
even want
anybody
one of
from
their
the Giant,
centers?
right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So Seattle, same thing. So most likely, probably not. No,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah, I kind of put that question together last second because I was thinking about it. That the news came out today that Deshaun Watson was going to be out for 11 plus games or 11 game suspension with
Yeah.
$5 million. And so I was like, okay, now it seems more likely that he could go to Cleveland. But the chances of us trading him away are slim unless they really want to get him in the locker room now and they want to, move forward with the playbook and stuff like that. Because he's not looking at the playbook now, and he's not going to until he's on the team. So I don't know. That center position really worries me because it seems like one of the most important in Kyle Shanahan's offensive line. Um, like, yeah, Trent Williams does his thing. He's great. And Mike McGlinchey, he excels in run blocking and has some issues pass blocking here and there. But now we don't know if he's gonna be healthy week to week. Um, Now, I did like that suggestion, moving Burford to right tackle and then
Hmm.
putting Poe at the right guard because I liked a lot of what I saw from Poe. I really liked what I saw from Burford, but I feel like that's more of a next year thing when Mike McGlinchey's gone because, he's kind of cemented himself in that role, and they don't seem like Kyle Shanahan doesn't seem like the type of guy. They just don't seem like the type of team to just take a 4-year vet out to replace him with a guy like Burford, who's excelling, who's doing really well, but and plus Burford's getting comfortable.
I think
Now-
it's too late in camp to make that move, right? Like if that was
Yeah.
the decision at the beginning of camp, I would have been all for it. Burford, I agree. I think he probably is the long-term right tackle. Like that's he can play the right tackle position. I think he's probably built a little bit more like a tackle. Poe is certainly a guard, maybe even
Yeah.
a center. I don't know if he can snap, but like that's going to be a spot for him. And eventually, like you just want your 5 best players out there. And if one of those guys like Burford can play multiple positions, then it makes sense to move him over. So I'm with
Yeah.
you.
And it's also like I haven't heard of him getting any reps at the right tackle spot, so that's
Right.
You know, that's concerning. You can't just take him and move him.
Right.
You know, that it's a completely different playbook from each offensive line position, pretty much. You have a different assignment. Now, we know Elijah Mitchell is dealing with some issues, and I've heard a lot of good things about Ty Davis Price. Obviously, we've seen a lot of Jeff Wilson Jr. We've seen a lot of Jermichael Hasty, who seems kind of like the clear-cut third down back. Now, that leaves Jordan Mason, who I've heard, raving reports about, and then Trey Sermon, who I haven't heard a lot of good things about. Who in this running back room do you foresee getting cut? Because it's going to be one of them.
I mean, if Sermon's hurt, they might get lucky because if Sermon's hurt and it's serious, they can throw him on IR and keep all of them except for one. I think in that instance, it would probably be Wilson that gets cut. That's tough if it's only one.
Yeah.
If it's two, I think it's Wilson and Hasty. But man, I have a hard time moving on from those guys. Like I'm a big Sermon guy. I try to talk him up during the offseason. I'm like, listen, I think he's going to be better.
Yeah, me too.
I felt like next to Trey Lance, it would be such a good fit. He just hasn't proven it yet. And I know that he was a higher draft pick, but at the same time, like Jeff Wilson has won you games in this league. Like he's played really good. And Hasty's brings something different that nobody else brings from the running back room. So I think he'd probably have to move on from Sermon if he can. But like I said, if he's hurt and it's long term, they actually could scrape by and get lucky, put him on IR and keep almost all of them other than the one, which would probably be Wilson that gets cut, in my opinion.
Yeah, so this is the first time hearing of Sermon's injury. What happened to Sermon?
Just happened today. Ankle, foot. They don't know exactly what it is. They're going to do MRIs and x-rays to try to rule out anything serious. It doesn't sound like it's serious. Unfortunately for him, even if it's not serious, like this could end his training camp. And if that's the case,
then
if you're on the bubble, like that could be it for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. That's tough too, because I really like Sermon. I liked him coming out of college. I like the idea of him and Trey Lance in the backfield. And in the preseason, in this last game that he played, at the beginning, I thought he looked really explosive. I thought he looked faster, a little bit indecisive. I talked about it on my show in my post game. He looked a little bit indecisive. He had some holes in the middle that he wasn't able to follow, and he would try to bounce it outside. And that's something that he's dealt with in his career. And he's in college, he's explosive enough, and he's a better athlete than a lot of the guys that he's playing against. So he's able to get away with it. But in the league, it's tougher. You can't get outside if you don't have got like Raheem Mostert speed.
Yeah, he runs a little bit like Le'Veon Bell, right? And that's not good for this offense. So
yeah, exactly. So that's tough. Now what? I talked about this on my show a couple weeks ago about people that we could bring in the interior, the offensive line. And I talked about guys like J.C. Treader, who I know has dealt with like injury concerns. And I don't know how he's looking right now, but he's a good center in this league. What are the chances of us bringing somebody else in at that spot to take over? I don't know how they feel about Brendel, but I don't know. I don't know about him,
Yeah, I understand. Hey, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to answer your question. I'm going to bring you off so that I can get to the next one, but I'm going to answer your question and then bring on the next person. You good with that?
Yeah, I appreciate it,
All right,
brother.
brother.
I like being on the show, man. It's good to see you.
Hey, call in every Thursday, man. I love to see you grow. And like I said, whenever you start doing more live stuff and whatnot, I'll definitely be your first guest if you want, brother. All right.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
All right, man. I think it's a great question. Here's the problem with Treader, and I've said this a few times. Treader is a really, really good player, right? But he does have, it sounds like, degenerative knees. And the problem with that is he doesn't practice. Not the biggest issue in the world, especially as a 1-year rental. I would love to have JC Treader, but he is the head of the Players Association. And when you're the head of the Players Association, you're after two things. You're after multi-years and you're after guaranteed contracts. And that's his MO. And as the leader of the player organization, he has to uphold that. And so it's going to be hard for him, I think, to find a team. I certainly don't want to give a guy with bad knees 3 years, mostly guaranteed, even if he is really good, because I don't know if he's going to make it. So that's the problem with Treader. You know, there are other guys out there. Matt Paradis is out there. I don't know how well he fits the scheme, to be real with you. And I'm not the best when it comes to evaluating offensive linemen. I think they're going to roll with Brindle and see how it works. So we'll see. Smack Jones. We're going to go Davo, Gammon, Eric, and then Swang. Smack Jones says Trey's looking like a young, more athletic McNabb. I love it. Trey's even coming with the same receding hairline problem as him. Y'all got to leave his hair alone, man. Leave it alone. Yeah, he's going to have to get rid of that hair. It's not looking good for old Trey. 22 years old. You know, he can buy sometime because he wears the little band across the forehead, but it's not looking good for old Trey's hairline. So appreciate it, Smack Jones. Here's some love. Davo, you just want to steal a spotlight? What's up, man? You were just on yesterday.
Bro, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, my shit's not echoing. Can I curse? I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
Bruh, I seen the timer go off like 6 times. What's going on?
Oh, okay. Listen, I'm giving you 2 minutes for that.
2 minutes? This is sickening. This is nasty work coming from you, Jesse. Now I'm just gonna make it quick because my boy Eric gotta go make dinner. You feel me? I'm gonna be a nice guy.
Okay.
But who do you think is wide receiver 3? Is it gonna be Danny Gray or is it gonna be Jennings?
Okay, so is this a question for day one or end of the season? By the end of the season?
We'll go both. You can answer both.
Okay. Day one, I'm going to go Jennings just because I think he's the better run blocker, and they certainly covet that in this offense. I do think by week 18 that it's Danny Gray's job. I just think he's too explosive to keep off the field long term, and unless he starts to develop like drop problems or he can't get open when they put him on the field, I just think that stretching the field is it's impossible to keep that off the field, man. That's such a weapon that not many teams have. And Danny Gray is special when it comes to front, like straightforward speed. So I think eventually he does win that job. I really do.
Because he runs like a 4.33, right?
Something like that. It's either way. He certainly does on the field. He runs stupid fast.
I run like a 4.2 or something like that. It's
yeah,
cool.
no, for sure. I got you.
Though, but you
feel me? Well, actually, backpedaling, you run a 4.2. When you run
backpedaling is a 4.1. Forward is 4.2.
Oh, I got you.
Jesse, I told you this in confidence, but you're not really even getting the details right. This is crazy. But what are the chances of Mills starting at right tackle sometime down the road?
Man, if McGlinchey's out, they got to figure out something. McKivitz is not the answer. I know McKivitz came in and did some nice things week 18. That was at left tackle. And in switching, he may not be the best, but he's probably a better left tackle than he is right tackle from the things that we're hearing. And if that's the case, I do not want to see it. So, from what we're hearing from Mills, he's pretty good. He's at least started in this league. He's been decent. I would have to say that early on, if McGlinchey's out, he's going to win that job pretty quickly. I think he's going to show through and end up being one of the better players. I think School gets cut. I think McKivitz might make the team, but That one's iffy too.
Okay. And and go back to what your last conversation. I know you were talking about MetLife.
Mm-hmm.
MetLife's nasty, bro. I took a picture out there and almost twisted my ankle as soon as I touched turf. It was nasty, man. It was really bad. I almost felt, yeah, man, it was crazy.
They thank God they don't got to play there again this year. And I pray for Zach Wilson's knees because that's going to be a common theme for that team, man.
Ugly.
It's nasty. It is nasty. I agree.
Hey, and the last thing before I go, y'all better be ready for Trey. Trey's gonna be a different breed. He's Himothy. Expect the best from him. If he has a little ups and downs, it's cool. Second year starting, really his rookie year. MVP, and stop making fun of him balding, bro. That's what goats do. Kobe, MJ, Shaq, bro. All the goats have it. It's cool. It's part of the process. Trust it.
You're right. And not everybody's married to a witch like Tom Brady, who, he's got everything going for him. So,
hey, bro,
it is what
Trey
it is.
goes bald, I go bald. You feel me?
Listen, I'm going to be 40 in a couple years. I am not. That's one thing I have going for me is a full head of hair. It may be graying, but I got a full head of hair. I'm proud of this. I am not shaving this thing, even if Trey does it. And you're right, LeBron's balding too. He's been balding since he was 22. Speaking of,
the goats. It's all good. We cooling with it though. Thank you, Jesse, for having me on, man.
All right, bro.
Next time, don't have me waiting so long. All right.
All right. Yeah. Gotcha.
You got
Great.
me? I bet.
All right, later. Golly, if that is a prerequisite to what I'm about to get from Gammon, I cannot wait. You want to be on camera, Gammon, or no? Yeah, you're good. Okay. What's up, brother? How are you?
Man, I'm doing pretty good. Just want to do a quick shout out to a whole bunch of faithful fans there, kind of on the streaming platform. But one of the big things I want to say is I did really want to troll you pretty hard and throw some haymakers. I was trying to work up the private chat group into doing it, but I'm interested to see what they have to say. But really, actually, I'm kind of heartbroken because I'm going to be gone training for about a month, so I'm going to be missing the first month of training season. Yeah, and that's at least 4 good, uppercuts I get to throw at you, Jesse. So I'm a little sad about that. What I did want to say though, so to everybody who's listening in the chat and the viewers, like we have a really good community. Jesse has a really, really strong community. Please, like if you guys can, hit the like, subscribe, join button, of course, but also too, hey, if you go to work tomorrow, I know it's going to sound crazy, a little eccentric, but maybe make like a little playlist of like 8 of his videos or shows. And then when you go to work, just hit the play button. And then that way, then it'll cycle through all of those shows while you're gone at work. It's little things like that really help out a channel and also to the algorithm. I'm seeing some other channels and other people and their subscribers. And honestly, I'm not going to say they don't deserve their subscribers, but Jesse definitely deserves a lot more subscribers. So that's just kind of like a little thing that I have small, simple request that I have to make. And then, yeah, this might be the last time you guys kind of hear from me for a month. But other than that, Jesse,
are you in the reserves then? Is that?
No, I'm in the regular Army. So,
are you really?
Yeah,
okay, I didn't realize you were active. Okay.
Yeah. So, but that's really it. I don't want to go, but I do want to go because I don't want to hold up anybody else. But damn, man, it really hurts not seeing you guys for a while. But if you guys just do something kind of small. Oh, and Jesse, you are the freaking man for doing that, by the way. That guy who was about to do maybe start up his own cast or streaming, that is so hard. And for you just to gift that, big ups. And anybody in the chat, what I asked for you guys to do for Jesse, anybody in the chat, if you have something like that, I'm not asking you to do anything that I wouldn't do myself. If you say like, hey, Gammon, do that for me, I will 100% do that for you because it's so easy. You just make the little playlist, hit play. There is no work that needs to be done. I just leave that in the background. Just like Kyler Murray reading his iPad with all the plays in it. It's the easiest thing ever. But I appreciate you guys. And I love you, Jesse. Thank you.
Hey, love you too, man. Listen, these I know that you're still gonna be in the chat. These guys are showing mad love for you, man. They're gonna miss you too. You're a staple in the community. It sucks that you're not gonna be here, but we know that you'll be back. It's just some work you gotta handle. And we are excited and will welcome you with open arms. No question about it. Gammon, you're a gem, man. You really, truly are. So enough of that gushy stuff. I gotta get my troll game up when you come back, though. Let's be clear about that. Let's be clear about that. What's up, Eric? How are you, bud?
Hey, what's up, Jesse? How are you?
I'm doing good, man.
How's the audio quality? Can you hear me good?
Yeah, you know what? It's 50-50 with you when you call in. That first time usually is a little off, but we're good right now.
All right, cool. All right, well, first I just want to piggyback on what Gammon was saying. If there's anyone in the chat who hasn't subscribed already, I mean, what are you waiting for? Just hit the button. It only takes a second. Listen, we're all addicted to the 49ers content at this point. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. Just accept it. Embrace your love of the 49ers. Embrace your love of the content and go ahead and subscribe. This is by far one of the best channels out there. You'll love it. You won't regret it for 1 second, believe me.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
So there's a couple things I want to go over tonight. I'll try to be quick. I know Melissa's waiting. First thing I just wanted to touch on, I wanted to mention someone, in my opinion, is one of the unsung heroes of this team. You almost never hear this person's name get mentioned, and they're arguably the most important person in the entire organization, and that is the owner, Jed York. Now, the reason I want to mention Jed York's name is there have been a couple decisions he's made that I think took some guts, and I think he deserves some credit for. Now, before Kyle came in, before John came in, there was a rough stretch. It was pretty bad for a while. We were going through new coaches every couple of years. It seemed like every year was like between 4 to 6 wins. It was bad. So what did he do? He gave Kyle, who had never been a head coach before, and John Lynch, who had never been a general manager before, 6-year contracts. He said, enough of this, changing coaches every 2 years. He made a firm commitment, and that's given them time to develop at what they do. If you remember, the first draft was the Solomon Thomas draft. They've even admitted that they didn't even scout Patrick Mahomes. I think it's safe to say they've gotten better. So by making that long-term commitment to the coach and the general manager, it's given them time to evolve and to improve at their jobs. And now I think we're starting to see the fruits of that. I mean, there's all pros all over. We're talking about having in the NFL top 100 somewhere between 7 to 8 players in the top 100. There's 32 teams in the NFL. Average is 3. So if you have 7 to 8 players in the top 100, I'd say you're doing a good job putting the team together. So I wanted to give him credit for that. And also with the Trey Lance trade, how many people have criticized the 49ers? Oh, you gave up too much. You drafted a guy that was unproven. This isn't going to work. I think, Jed York is the one who had to sign off on that. So when they went to him, they said, listen, we want to give up 3 first-round picks and a third-round pick for a Division II quarterback that started a total of 17 games since high school. He had to trust in his guys and Kyle and John and give them a leap of faith to greenlight that, and he did. So I wanted to just quickly touch on that, give him credit as the owner, because you almost never hear it mentioned, but without him allowing Kyle and John to do their thing, I don't think the team would be where it is right now.
Yeah, you know what? I know that there's a lot of hate for York, and York's made a lot of mistakes, right? I think it's fair to say that both things can be true. He screwed up a lot, right? He screwed up a lot, but he's gotten it right here. And maybe he gave the contract a little bit early to Shanahan and Lynch, re-extending them, but making that commitment right away and forcing his own hand because he likes to pull the trigger and get rid of people. I think that was his way of saying, all right, I know my tendencies here. I'm going to do my best to stop my tendencies before it becomes an issue. And I'm going to sign these guys long-term. At the end of the day, I don't agree with everything that Lynch and Shanahan have done. That being said, they're doing a really, really good job. Like overall, top to bottom, they're doing a good job.
That commitment has allowed Kyle and John to build the team the right way too. I mean, how many times do we talk about like, oh, this team, they can't do this thing because the coach has got to win this year to save his contract. The Panthers traded for Baker Mayfield because the coach, he doesn't want to have a losing season. We've been talking about there are certain teams that might be interested in Jimmy Garoppolo because the coach can't afford to have a losing season. But Kyle and John have that security to be able to build things the right way. We've had some bad seasons with injuries, and Jed has never wavered on his commitment to them. So, yeah, I think he's done a good job of giving them the leeway in order to build things patiently, build things correctly, and I think we're going to really see the fruits of that labor paying off. And
yeah, go ahead.
No, I want to say there was one other thing I wanted to do, but I don't know if I have enough time for it. I know you got Melissa waiting. I don't know if maybe you want me to save that for next week. I got something I've been working on. It's along. I don't know if you remember the send Jimmy to space bit that I did, but it's something along those lines. So I don't know if maybe actually if you want to, because Melissa's been waiting patiently. I don't know if you want me to tap out. Melissa can come in, and then you can bring me back on, and I could finish up after that.
Yeah, I got it. Well, I got a few people waiting, so let's try to get that off. Try to get it off next week. You know what? If you're still around towards the end of the show, and I get through these people, I might bring you back because I'm curious about this. Like the Jimmy to Space was really, really funny.
And now I kind of want to make you wait until next week too. Now you got me curious. So.
You better not forget though. If you make me wait, you better not forget.
Oh please! Who are we talking about here? I don't forget. No. This I've been cooking this up for a while. I figured out the solution. That's all I'm going to say. That's the hint. I got a solution.
I love it. I'm looking forward to it. All right, brother. You have a good one.
All right, you too.
It's so funny. The Jimmy to Space thing. Gammon says, Jay, can you help Eric Crocker set up his monthly membership to his YouTube channel? He doesn't know how to set it up, and I don't either. Join. Yeah, definitely. I threw it out there to Crocker. He knows that I'll help him with anything. Crocker's a good dude. I've really come to enjoy him as a person. Obviously, he's a content creator and being an ex-player, I really respect his opinion. Don't always agree with it, but he's always willing to have good back and forth with you. But yeah, Crocker's a good dude. I would certainly help him. No questions asked. So I'll let him know again. If it's something he really wants to do, I can definitely help him out with that. No questions asked. All right, Melissa, what's up?
Hi, Jesse. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm burnt out. I needed the hell off of Twitter before I started punching out some assholes. So I really want to.
Twitter, it's a cesspool sometimes, Melissa. It really is.
It's not that. It's these guys have an issue with my takes. So I've been trying really hard to be like you and Gammon and some other people by, just diffusing stuff with humor and letting them have their fun. But at a certain point, you get to your breaking point, and you got to get away because you really will go all Jersey on their asses, and that's where I'm at right now. It started off innocently, it was the cut downs, and everyone was like, Melissa's gonna go crazy because Josh Hackett was cut, and it's like, you know what? I know it was coming. It's been coming since he signed here. He was a undrafted free agent. He's been cut twice. He's been re-signed twice. He was never called up even when we had nobody available. It was what it was. And I hate Kyle Chicks to the day I die because of it. But it's like 1 tag, 2 tag, 3 tag, 4 tag, and everyone's like just jumping on it. And it got to the point where people were just retweeting it who don't even know me, but they got a sick fascination out of someone being upset at the idea of this happening, and it's so I had to come on today because I was like, Jesse makes me laugh, and I needed a break from it all. And then this other guy was giving me a hard time because I said Juwan Jennings was my wide receiver 2 a month and a half ago before Debo re-signed.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, he was receiver 2. We hadn't seen Danny Gray. We hadn't seen Ray. And Brandon was clearly wide receiver 1 because he's the one that worked with Trey the most. It's just you can only deflect people for so long. Yeah.
Right,
exactly.
Right.
And now he's like, well, Melissa, what's your take now that everyone's healthy and signing? Is he finally receiver 3? And I'm like, No, because I don't see him as better than them. I don't see him worse than them. I'm just saying that, they're there, he's there, and you know what? For me, I respect Jamon Jennings because he's clutch. Overtime twice, he was clutch. He made those big important third downs. He made the drives go. He was there for Debo's trick touchdown catch. I mean, he's not the fastest. He's not the biggest. He's not like the top two dudes, but that doesn't mean that he does, or him and his friends need to be disrespected. So it's just crazy the way people just want to harass you for being a friend and being outspoken on something that's not popular.
Well, I'll say this, Melissa. One really good thing that I've learned over time, because I'm one of those people that, I'll give you the energy that you give me, right? Like, I'm good to 99%.
That's why I
of the
retweeted
people.
your tweet, because I respect that,
But if you come at me sideways, I will absolutely level you. No problem.
Clearly, people can come onto my Twitter. It's NJ49IZZY. You can see it. I laughed it off. I joked. I used the GIFs, and I really was trying to keep my cool. But it's just like at a certain point, you're like, okay, you know what? Have your little jollies. I'm done.
You know what my favorite thing on Twitter though is? The mute button. Muting people. You know why it's better than a block? Because blocking, they know they got blocked. When you mute somebody, they have no idea that you've muted them, and all of a sudden, you just don't respond to anything they do because you don't see it. So it's like you're blocking them without them knowing it. And it's funny because there's so many times where I'll go into my comments and I've got, let's say 10 comments on something, but I can only read 2 or 3 of them. That's because those other 7 are people that I've muted and I can't read them. And I'm happy that I can't read them. And I know that they're so mad that I won't engage with them. So mute people. It is the best thing Twitter ever made. Unless Twitter decides to make anything where you can go back and edit. That would be the best thing, but mute right now is
they have an edit, but you have to buy Twitter Blue to go back.
I'm not buying no Twitter Blue. Nope, not doing it. I'll delete a tweet and redo it if I have to.
So I was gonna ask you a couple questions now that I got to vent, and I appreciate you letting me vent.
Yeah, you're good.
Who would you have at right tackle right now? Because I don't trust McGlinchey, and I don't think Colton or School should ever be given the opportunity again.
I trust McGlinchey as a player-ish. I don't trust his health. I think I want to see what Mills brings to the table. I don't trust McKivitz. I also don't trust School. I would prefer Burford, right? And maybe moving Poe to guard. That's a lot of movement this late into things. I just hope that McGlinchey's healthy. I do personally trust McGlinchey.
See, and I get where you're coming from. It's just Burford kind of has been like the right guard, right? All through like mini camp and regular training camp. I don't want him to be like Brunskill, where he has a clear comfort in a certain spot, and then he has to be kept moving around like Solomon Thomas or Eric Armstead, where like clearly you can tell where they're strongest, but we have to keep moving them, and we can't let them develop what they're good at because we don't invest in certain positions. So that's my worry when it comes to the lines.
I agree with you. Yeah, listen, there's a lot of concerns. It's funny, though, that the concerns shifted from the interior offensive line to now the right tackle spot. That's the new scare.
I think it's Spencer Burford, really, that kind of like sealed it for people. Like, people kind of thought that Aaron Banks was going to get the shot next to Trent. And I think Brendel's done enough at center, and he's been complimented enough by Trey where people are starting to like calm down at center. Except for the people who want to trade for JC Treader and have a vet there. So, yeah, it kind of makes sense that it's the right tackle again. But I want to ask you, what is the bigger concern for you, the right tackle position or strong safety?
Right tackle.
Or sorry, free safety. That's what Jimmy plays.
Yeah, right tackle. No, right tackle. No question about it. Whenever you have guys that are here to protect the franchise, which is Trey Lance, I worry about those guys more than anything, right? Protecting Trey Lance is like priority number 1 of this team. Long-term success of this team relies on Trey Lance's right arm, so I got to go with that offensive line, that tackle position right now.
Okay, and based on the Packer game, has Nate Sudfeld either made you more comfortable with him as the backup or raised more concern for you?
Ooh, that's a good one. Real quick, guys, Swan Song, Rohan, and then Marco, back-to-back show partners, actually, co-hosts are going to be on. That's going to be the order after we go rapid fire here. I actually don't care about the backup quarterback position. I know that's a weird thing to say, but you know what? The 49er fans, we are so jaded with Jimmy Garoppolo getting injured at the rate that he always did. Backup quarterback was such a hot topic. I could care less. I could care less if I was the backup quarterback or you were the backup quarterback. I don't care. I don't think it matters, honestly. I'm not comfortable with either one of them playing if it comes down to that. I just think that Trey Lance is going to be healthy and we're going to be good. So I'm not too worried about it.
Okay, and as your previous callers have said, MetLife really is the most trash tuna can waste space in the world.
So
I live in Jersey, and I promise you, my dad, because he's a Giant fan, we went there for day one of the draft to see the Jets and Giant picks there, and we got to walk around on the field and take pictures. And I met Dexter Lawrence, and there was Wayne Corbett and all this stuff. I kid you not, that field's been there for 2 years, and it's still the most unforgiving substance I've ever walked on. Even my father was like, how do these players run on this field?
That's terrible. That's sad. That's sad. And luckily we don't have to deal with it, but man, those guys all have to play on that 8-9 weeks a year. That is rough.
And their practice facilities have the same turf, so it's not even just when they're playing games they have to play that all year round. So
that's terrible. Absolutely trash.
Thank you for making me laugh and smile again, Jesse.
Yeah,
really
you're good. You listen, anytime, like I said, mute button. It's a guilty pleasure. You'll love it. I promise. All right,
have a nice night.
Have a good one. All right, I'm going to bring on Swan. And then, you know what? Rohan and Marco, I'm going to bring you guys on together. How about that? Make you guys... Rohan, what is up, dude? You know what? I'm not even going to ruin your credibility. Not even going to ruin your credibility. Rohan's a nice kid. He gave me the thumbs up back there. So that's what we're rolling with. What's up, Swan? How you doing, man?
Hey, what's up, Jesse? Doing pretty good. So all this talk of offensive line, and yes, I'm concerned, but it's one of those things where I'm not worried about it too much because I don't think there's any answers like for us right now. You know what I mean? So I try not to worry about stuff and say stuff when there are no clear solutions for us, right? So we just gotta hope that it works out, right?
I feel you.
You know, I also had the idea of moving Burford to right tackle and then perhaps either Brunskill goes back to right guard, but Brunskill seems like he's probably going to be hurt all year. I don't know. But I'm not too concerned about Brendel. What I've seen of the game, he played a pretty solid game. I mean, granted, it's limited reps and stuff, but so we'll be keeping our eye on that. From what I hear, Burford had a good game. You know, I know that he allowed some pressures, but you know, it was his first outing. And then I heard Banks had a totally clean game. So that was cool to see. As far as, you know, I was watching the Bears and Seattle game, our week 1, week 2 opponents on the preseason game. And, you know, it's kind of ironic that the Seahawks started building their offensive line when Russell left. He was begging for an offensive line this whole time, and they finally built it out. And it looks like they got, you know, 2 good ones. That Abraham Lucas guy was impressive. He's impressive, and you know, I think they got him in the early 3rd round. Cross was, I think, their 1st round pick, and he looked good, but he had like 3 penalties, like 2 offsides and a holding. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. The Bears are winning like 24-0 right now. They look like Seattle's making them look like the 84 Bears or something.
Did Fields play or
he
no?
did? He did play.
How did he look?
He looked okay. He looked fine. They were getting a lot of pressure at first, so they just had him roll out. Right. So he
Smart.
almost fumbled again. So, you know, I know he had fumble issues last season, but he looked pretty good. I mean, it's going to be an interesting team. I think that coach is pretty good though. That Eberflus guy
Eberflus, yeah.
Yeah. It's probably going to take them a while, but you know, I think they're trying to I think he's going to try to play physical week 1, right? Like that's their thing. They're going to try to play physical, and they have the wide zone system, and Justin Fields is going to be running a lot, so that's going to be a good test for our defense, right? There's going to be a lot of play action, and we'll see. Hopefully, Roquan Smith doesn't get his contract by week 1, so that'd be better for us, right? And I know that Jaquan Brisker, that safety that they have, is balling out, and
He's
Kyler
good,
Gordon,
man.
yeah, Kyler Gordon
He's
made a
good.
play too today, open field tackle, and yeah, it might be they might be. I mean, they have a lot of holes, but at least that organization is going in the right direction, I think. But
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's going to take a while to build, and it sucks for them because it doesn't seem like they're going to be able to take advantage of that rookie contract from Fields before they're going to have to re-up him or make a decision on re-upping him. Luckily for us, the 49ers can take full advantage because they're in a great spot to win. But they have some good pieces. I actually want Roquan to stay there and play. I'd be curious to see. It'd be fun to watch him match wits with a young quarterback in Trey Lance. I think that'd be
yeah,
a lot of fun to see. And it'd be a good, interesting challenge for Trey Lance as well. I would like to see it.
yeah, it's and they were playing a lot of man too, which was
Mhm.
interesting. I don't know if they're going to try to pull that off on the Niners, and that's going to be interesting to
Good
see
luck.
all year, right? Like
Yeah.
whether teams are going to dare to play man with Lance there. So it's going to be interesting to see how Kyle. I mean, because it's going to be adjustment, right, with Kyle as well, right? Just kind of what he said last year. Like, hey, one thing tricky about Trey is that we're not getting the same defensive looks that I'm used to. So it's hard trying to make a game plan when I'm not used to what the defense is going to bring at me. I don't know if that was a cop out or whatever, but we'll see how that all plays out, right? So we have 12 days until Jimmy G's gone, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I really think it's every day that passes by. I really think that there's a chance that Jimmy just is on the free agent market and just sits there. Like, I think,
Ooh.
like, okay, so there's really no teams that are gonna. Okay, let's say Jimmy wants 15, 20 million, right? Because that's probably what he's gonna want, right? I mean, I don't think there's a lot of teams that will go for that, right? I don't like even if
I think he'd be lucky to get 8.
yeah, and so at that point, maybe his best move is just to sit on the free agent market and then hope that a contending team, is either, they lose their quarterback because of injury or whatever, something, or some like a QB is not going to be the answer and they want to use him as a bridge. I don't even know at this point, really. I really don't care, but
Well, I'll say this one. I don't think like Jimmy to me doesn't have long-term backup written all over him. Like I feel like he's the type of guy that's either going to start or I could see him
walk
retiring
away.
in a year.
Yeah, he's made
Yeah.
enough money, right? He's
Yeah,
made enough money.
I just don't. I could be wrong. Maybe I have Jimmy pegged all wrong. I just feel like he's not the type of guy that would care to go through that grind again at this age, right? And I don't blame him. I'm not. That's not a knock against him. It's just I get that feeling from him. So you might be right, and I mean we'll see. We'll see if Jimmy's in the league in 2 years. To be real, and that doesn't mean that he's not good enough to be in the league. I just think that he may decide to just hang him up.
And so I wanted to ask you this last thing. It says that because I know you're in the area. What's
Yeah.
what's the deal with Tom Brady? Is he going to retire?
I
Like,
don't
what
know,
is this?
man. I don't know. I really honestly don't know. They're not talking about it a lot out here, surprisingly, right? They're not making a big deal out of it, I should say. But I don't know, man. But if he retires, the 49ers are the clear front runner in the NFC all of a sudden.
Yeah,
Like,
so there Jimmy has a landing spot.
Yeah.
But
Good call. Yeah, that's a good point.
it's such a weird situation about that because when have you known Brady? Like Brady's like the coach on the team, right? Like he's like one of the coaches and he's a tryhard, right? So
Yeah.
like him missing 2 weeks when they have a new center, right? Because they lost Jansen, and then you have Julio Jones is there. It's like you want to get all these things. It's really strange, really really
It
strange.
is. No, it's extremely strange. It definitely is. Swan Song, brother, I appreciate you calling in as always. We'll talk on Twitter and then we'll talk again here next week. All right, brother?
Right on. Thanks, man.
All right, later. All right, Rohan, you and Marco, I'm gonna give you guys 10 minutes though, because it's a joint thing. I want to make sure you each get your shine. Rohan's Mr. Big Shot. He wants to come on the show alone. Marco, you see this? He's big timing you. You don't understand what's going on behind the scenes. I can see and you can't. He's big timing you. He's like Mr. I write for SB Nation, Wisconsin, or whatever the hell he does now. I don't know. Something big time. Anyway, Sid Brown says, really appreciate your show, Jesse. Keep it up. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you all for tapping in. Absolutely. Let's get these guys on together.
Why am I not shocked that this dude is over there and behind scenes saying he wants to come on solo?
The reason I wanted to come on, I was going to show love to Mr. Jesse Naylor here, but because he's like this now, the reason I wanted to come on was just to, expose you again, because last week I came on and exposed you as that Jimmy enthusiast. Everybody who doesn't know, Jesse Naylor is actually a huge Jimmy fan. Like, he's a super fan. He's not an actual analyst. He's like a fraud analyst. So that's why I wanted to come on, just to shed light, because a lot of people don't know the truth, that behind the scenes BS that you just brought up. No, I'm kidding.
You know what's funny, Rohan, is my my co-host, the Lion side of the show. And I think people really legit believe this. He was pretty good. He said that I had a Jimmy G tattoo on my right shoulder, and he really carried this thing out. People legit were like, does he really have a Jimmy G tattoo? It's pretty funny. It's a good,
and the thing
funny
is,
thing.
You can't question it, because if they do, we've seen that right hook. Somebody
yeah. What are you going to do about it?
Question it.
Hey, just so everybody in the chat knows, Marco, who's on screen, kind of on screen, you can't see his face. He's down below, and then Rohan. They actually do a podcast together, 49ers Red Zone. And then Rohan also has his own YouTube channel. It's his name right there. So make sure you subscribe to these guys. They're both awesome. Rohan has been killing it. He provided a lot of insight this year at 49ers Training Camp, blew up on Twitter. And why don't you talk about your new venture real quick? I know I was making a joke about it, but real talk, what's the new thing you got going on?
Hey, I appreciate you. The new thing is I recently joined SB Nation to cover Wisconsin Badgers football and basketball as a beat writer. So that is something fun. I am continuing my 49er work. That's kind of going to be my main thing still, but a new venture as I go over there because I'll get to be in person, get to see the games live and all that. So that'll be pretty fun for me as well.
So that means we get to know how bad Wisconsin football team sucks every year.
I mean, I'm not going to object. I don't really care. I'm just going to be doing my thing.
That'll be an interesting thing for you though, Rohan, because you do a good job being objective anyways with the 49ers, but you are a 49er fan, right? And so this is a team that you genuinely, truly do not care either way. So like you'll get to see kind of the differences of trying to overcome some of your biases with the 49ers and actually being able to do that with no issue here. And so I think long term, it'll actually help you be even more objective.
Yeah, definitely. But I wanted to come on here, obviously share you some love, because you do a great job just letting fans and speak with you in general with these shows. But training camp the last 2 days, obviously in Minnesota, joint practices, just talk with David Lichty. What have been kind of your main takeaways? And I know you have a lot of back and forth about Trey Lance. Are you a little more optimistic because Trey Lance has had a string of pretty good practices since that Friday game where he obviously played pretty good as well?
Yeah, I gotta be honest with you, man. I haven't wavered one bit on Trey. I know exactly what it is. I'm not tripping. To me, when we saw the practice videos leak last year, it was right around the time that Fred Warner came out and said that, I talked to him and said, listen, you can't be perfect in practice. Like, A, you're not giving us the looks we need. B, you're not going to get any better. And so I expected a lot of quote unquote mistakes in practice this year because he is not being a conservative player. And I got into this debate actually in the offseason a few months ago with Eric Crocker on a space. And we were talking about Trey Lance. And I said, my issue with Trey Lance coming out of the draft is that I think he might be a little too safe, a little too conservative. I mean, this is a guy who has all the physical abilities, but I think he plays it safe too much. And so I fear that long term, we may not see some of those amazing things that he can do on the field because of that. And we obviously are seeing him work through that right now. Like, he's starting to break out of his shell. He's not afraid to make mistakes in practice. And I think long term, that's going to make him better. It is good. I'm happy to see that he's doing well, just so that the rest of the fan base can kind of see what I've thought all along. But for me, the calm has always been there. This kid's going to be great. I really have, I'm not 100% on it, but I'm 99.9, and I'm definitely 10 toes down with Trey Lance. But it is nice to see him do well for sure.
I'm 100% on it. I think Trey Lance is the next big thing. So like Jesse does say, right? So that was one of his biggest knocks for me is his inability to take risks, right? Like he just didn't want to take these risks throughout college. And for me, that was my biggest like, okay, well, when he gets to the next level, as soon as he takes a risk and he throws an interception, how's he going to react to it? And then we hear Fred Warner come up to him like, hey, dude, you're not helping us out. Like you're picking us apart, but you're not taking any risks. We can't get any gauge on how the ball's going to be in real games. We need you to take these risks. And then he starts taking these risks. And then Fred Warner's like, hey, he's literally ripping us apart every day in practice against the number one defense with a scout team offense. We got to remember that. With a scout team offense. So to me, honestly, it's going to be insane when people finally get to see Trey Lance out there with the entire roster, right? Preseason game 1, we saw them only with like the backup receivers. We didn't see him with George Kittle. We didn't see him with Brandon Ayuk or Deebo Samuel. Once people actually see him with Deebo Samuel, and I'm talking about with Kyle actually running his offense, not no vanilla offense in front of fans in training camp or a vanilla offense that he ran the last 2 days against the Vikings, everyone's going to be very shocked. And a lot of people are going to look very smart for taking Trey Lance 3rd overall.
I love it. I love it. What about you, Rohan? Like, how do you feel about the situation? Like, you got to see him live a lot. You got to see some of those struggles. The days that he did struggle, like, how did you leave those practices? What was your overall feeling? Was there a thought of like, man, maybe he's not the guy, or were you still encouraged? Like, what was your gut feeling in those scenarios?
Yeah, I mean, I've been objective during training camp on when he's performed well and when he hasn't performed well. So when he's performed well, I've pointed out why he performed well, whether it's breaking down the 11 on 11, and when he hasn't, I've said why it isn't. And there were like 2 recurring issues kind of throughout training camp that unfolded. Like there were a lot of places of growth. First one being his dual threat ability. In the beginning of training camp, he was looking to only throw and not really try and fully take on his legs as a part of the issue. I'm not saying he should adapt being a running quarterback, because that's not true. He's a pocket passing quarterback, but also you have to understand the circumstance of sacks not mattering because there's no live tackling. It's not move the ball period. It's just regular scrimmage. So there's no harm in taking a sack and then throwing a 40-yard deep bomb. So that was one thing that I thought progressed. But the concerns throwing that deep out and then throwing obviously go routes. There were some times where he overthrew the go routes. There were some times where on the deep out, he'd throw it too wide, or on out routes in general, he'd throw them a little too wide, or he'd sometimes sail it. And that's where I really liked what you did yesterday. I think it was yesterday, right? With Coach McAvoy.
A couple days ago. Yeah.
Or maybe 2 days. Yeah. 2 days ago, because he broke it down perfectly and talked about the arm angles, the arm slots specifically, and how sometimes it does sail because he throws at a lower arm slot and things like that. And mechanically understanding why these issues happen, because then that there's a fixable thing. Overall in training camp, I've come away with, I'm not at all worried. In fact, I'm actually impressed because he showcased the ability now to take those risks. And I think it's good that the 49ers want him to do so. On one of the last days of practice, after, a lot of move the ball after 2 minutes, where you are more conservative, what do the 49ers do to start practice? First 10 passes, 4 of them were deep shots. Throw it straight down the field. It doesn't even matter if it's an incompletion. See what works, see what clicks. And all 4 were incompletions. 2, in my opinion, should have been pass interferences. But that's what the 49ers want. They want him to try and take that shot play down the field. And it's only going to open up this defense, even if it's an incompletion, because you've got the guys that can replicate the speed necessary to throw that ball. And now you've got a quarterback that you have to worry can hit that pass like we saw in the Packers game.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything you want to add to that, Marco?
Yeah, I just want to add the Delenda show. I just went on YouTube right now to look at their show. And oh my God, they draw incredible. I'm definitely subscribing to listen to that. I know you were gonna plug them right now, but I went to go look real quick, and you definitely earned a subscriber. But it's going on to what Rohan was saying about Trey. So last year, I had the privilege to be at training camp last year, a little bit more than this year. And last year, in my opinion, I thought last year he looked a little bit better. And what I thought from last year to this year, what I saw the biggest difference was actually Trey Lance taking these risks, seeing what he could do against an elite defense with the 49ers, right? Like last year, he wasn't taking these calculated risks. He was actually trying to beat out Jimmy Garoppolo, not necessarily trying to see what he could do. Versus this year, it's like, okay, this is my team. Let me see what I could do against an elite defense. Because when my team needs me against an elite defense later in the year, I'll know what I can and can't do. That's the best thing I saw, the growth from Trey Lance. Also, a thing I did see that I think it should get everyone excited about throughout this training camp was his ability to check the ball down. So his rookie year, he didn't really want to. I wouldn't say he really didn't want to, but he didn't check it down as often as he would this year. So in my opinion, he'd get through all his reads, nothing's there, he's checking down. Last year, he would get through his reads, nothing was there. He would start scrambling, looking for stuff, and then he would take off if he had to. So that's something everyone should be very excited about. His ability to check the ball down. And for a young rookie quarterback to be able to get through all his reads and then check the ball down is very impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. Delunda's show, definitely check it out. I'm subscribed. Marco, sounds like you subscribed. And it's just different. It's something different, right? So it's not like it's, another normal 49ers show. It's something very different. Check it out. Definitely cool. Gammon says Jesse's currently in the 49ers conference room. Rohan is in the locker room, and Marco must be in the janitor's closet with no lights.
Where do you think we get these sources from?
That's what happens when you got COVID. They send you to the janitor's closet where you can't get anyone else sick.
Yeah, Marco's climbing around in the vents on a regular basis, listening into coaches' conversations. That's why he's always so plugged in.
But great. Thank you for having us on, Jesse. And real quick, going back to that Delunda's show comment, one thing that you do a lot that maybe not all the other content creators do, and it's nothing against them, but you obviously like to create a platform for others. You did the same for us, maybe like a year ago now, when you brought us on to your Spotlight show. Obviously appreciative of you. Always been a pillar of the community, something I love to say. And thank you for having shows like this and also for interacting with fans on Twitter. Not like always staying true to who you are. And it's a great thing for, aspiring guys like me just to see from a guy like you.
I agree, Jesse.
I appreciate that.
I agree. I think Jesse does that the most out of all 49er content creators. I think he gives everyone the platform. He retweets everything. I mean, it doesn't hurt to retweet something. If you see something, you like it, retweet it. I mean, that's something he does on a regular. And honestly, without Jesse, a lot of young dudes coming up wouldn't have the platform. Jesse's giving a lot of people the opportunity to make a name for themselves. Shout out to Jesse.
Yeah, and I'm the perfect example right here. So appreciate you for that for sure.
Thank you, guys. That means the world to me. Definitely subscribe to these guys. I mean, shoot, they're passing me in Twitter followers at this point. So,
because you're a Jimmy G fan, man.
Yeah, I know. But listen, it's a closet thing for sure. Yeah, like I said, guys, I said it earlier in the show, and I actually tweeted this out the other day. I give the energy you give me, right? And for me, like I've always looked at the community as something where we should build each other up. And to me, like if you guys succeed or another content creator succeeds, that's good for me. Like, especially if we're friends, right? Because I go on your show, you come on my show, we both gain from that, more eyes on all of us. And so to me, like, it's a competition at some point, I guess, but it really should be us supporting each other. And I'm all about that. You guys are obviously the same way. And I appreciate it. And like I said, whatever energy I'm given, I'm going to give it right back. And you guys have always been great as well. Love both of you guys. Have a great night. Thank you guys for coming on. And thank you guys so much for the kind words. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you, man.
I hate both of them. Just kidding. Roll on. No, for real. They're both actually really, really good people. I've gotten to know both of them. Marco, more so, we text quite a bit. Rohan, we talk on Twitter a lot, but Rohan is a really good dude. And Marco, I've become really, for a guy that I've never met in person, we've really become close. I trust him with a lot. And I know he would say the same. Just a really, really good guy. Gammon. Yeah, I already read this one. That was a good comment. That was a good comment. All right, I'm going to bring on George real quick. See what he's been up to. He hasn't called in a while. What's up, George? How are you, man?
How you doing?
Doing good, man. It's been a while. How you been?
It's been a minute.
It has been a minute.
I'm just waiting for the season to start, man.
Bro, I'm with you.
I'm waiting for game 1 against the Bears. That's gonna be a fun game. I just can't wait. I hope Roquan Smith does not get his deal though. I don't want him to get his deal yet. I want him to get his deal after they play us, because that linebacker is annoying. Roquan Smith.
Listen, I'll tell you that I don't think you heard, but a couple callers ago I was talking about that. I actually want Roquan to play only because the 49ers are going to beat the Bears regardless.
Yeah.
But Roquan is one of the better middle linebackers in the game, or better linebackers in the game. I think it would be fun to watch Trey Lance have to match wits with him. I think that would be a lot of fun.
I mean, the thing about Roquan Smith, the difference between Roquan Smith and Bobby Wagner, Fred Warner, is Fred Warner is a ball hog. Roquan Smith, he can fake you out by just pretending he's gonna go to one place and then react right back to the same center. So I don't know if Trey can eye fake him out, because like Roquan Smith eyes is very good. If you watch him play, he can trick any quarterback. He even tricked Tom Brady a lot, and that's why I'm like, I don't know, a rookie.
But see, that's what I'm saying. It's to me, if let's say Trey Lance struggles a little bit, but the 49ers win, right?
Yeah.
I think that would be a good thing. Going up against a guy like Roquan, I think can help Trey Lance for many weeks to come, right? Like that could be a lesson in a film session that really could benefit him for a long time and maybe pick up that growth even faster. Or what if he plays really good and he outduels Roquan a little bit, right? Outwits him a little bit. Then it's like, oh gosh, wow, we are further ahead than what any of us thought. So to me, like I actually kind of look at it as a good challenge, no matter what. An interesting challenge, but a good challenge.
Yeah, I got another thing too. But what's up with Colin Cowherd and Trey Lance? What's the beef? What's the beef with them? I'm confused. Like Colin Cowherd says some sly stuff when he talk about Trey Lance all the time. What's going on with them? Like
rumor is he dated his daughter, right? Like that, right?
I did not know that. I did not know that at all. So that's what happened.
When he was coming out, supposedly he dated his daughter. They're obviously not together anymore. They're still friends, I guess. I don't know, but yeah. So I don't know.
That's the beef, because like he was trying to say good stuff about Trey Lance a few days ago, and then he turned around and started slighting him right after. I'm like, what? How can you say nice stuff and then slight him right after? I'm confused. But yeah, Jesse, I've heard some good stuff. My brother is a Vikings fan, and I'm telling him that Trey Lance is tearing y'all defense, and I'm pretty happy. I just can't wait. And that's it, man. It was nice talking to you, man. It's been a while.
It's been way too long. Call in if you can, brother. I miss talking to you, man. I definitely miss talking to you. You're always one thing about George. And I didn't bring him on screen. You mind if I bring you on screen real quick?
Go ahead.
All right. Always smiling. This guy is always smiling. Every time, man, I talk to him, he's always smiling. George is one of the good guys, so I appreciate it, George.
Take care, Jesse. Hey, go Niners.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, that's what I'm saying. Backstage, you can't help, and it's the whole time, whether he's talking or not, always smiling. It's just one of those things, man. You smile, other people want to smile. So George, he's been supporting me for a long time. First channel to the second channel. Really appreciate that, as have a lot of you, but always love. Guys, gals, that's it. It's 10:30 here on the East Coast. I'm going to hit the hay. Actually, I'm probably not going to hit the hay. I'm probably going to watch some preseason football, to be real with you. But that being said, appreciate each and every one of you. I will be back. Let's see, it's Thursday. I'll be back Monday. For those of you that are members, you'll probably see a film breakdown Sunday or Monday. And then Tuesday, I'll be back with Sunil. We'll do our regular show on Tuesday. Until then,